Morning guys, just woken up for day 3. Just going to go down and get some breakfast and get organised. Not woken up yet, so looking forward to the final day, and then quite looking forward to getting home now as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Yeah, alright people, day 3 of EGX over and done with. Heading back to Cornwall tomorrow. I have got a pass for tomorrow at the event, but I've actually seen and done everything I want to do at Eurogamer this year, and it'd be nice to head back home now. It's been a very tiring 3 days, but today was actually a phenomenal day, actually probably the best day of the 3, and I was expecting it to be the worst. I was expecting it to be stupidly busy, and it was busier than the last 2 days. But last year, the Saturday at Eurogamer was horrendous and the queues were absolutely ridiculous. So today we did sort of leave the hotel about half an hour later, just so we weren't standing around. The last 2 days we've been standing around for 3/4 of an hour waiting to go in. Rather than do that, we thought we'd take our time this morning. Got there about 9:45, so we were only waiting 1/4 of an hour. And then we hit some indie games, because what we noticed when everyone went in, they were going for the big games first, so we took that opportunity to go and play some of the indie games. And the first one we played was a game called Ukulele, which is a platforming game. So think of games like Banjo-Kazooie and Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, games like that. It is developed by Team 17, the people behind the Worms and Lemons game. But yeah, absolutely, and really enjoyed that game. If you're into games like Spyro, definitely check that out. It should be out towards the beginning of next year, I was told by the developers, and it is just a platformer, so that'll be quite exciting to play, because there's not many games like that about anymore. We then moved on to a game called, I think it was called Vikings Vlad or something like that, a similar game to Diablo 3. And is coming to all platforms. Really enjoyed that as well. It didn't feel like an indie game, it felt like an actual game. We played a couple of other titles down there, plenty going on in the indie game section. We probably spent about a good 2 hours there trying several games. It was very quiet at that time in that area, so we made the most of it and probably played a lot more there than we had over the last 2 days on anything else. After that we headed over and we tried, I don't know what we played after that. We went to a developer session after lunch for a game called Planet Coaster, which is coming out on PC in November. And if you play games like Theme Park and Roller Coaster Tycoon, think along those lines, and it's made by the same staff as the Roller Coaster Tycoon games, so it is just the next gen Roller Coaster Tycoon game. PC only. I was quite interested to go to the developer session just to see what they had to say, and it was very interesting actually, hearing them talk about how the game was made and how people had created content that they could never have imagined. And it just goes to show how gaming's moving on, when they were saying that people had created stuff on the alpha gameplay that they couldn't even create themselves, and they were going to be put out of a job soon. So yeah, that was interesting. We spent about an hour in there, 3/4 of an hour or so. Then my mate headed back to the hotel, and there was 2 of us. We registered to play Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation 4, but we were told we had to come back for that, and we had to book a slot to play that because of how busy that was. So we then took that opportunity. We had another go on Gears of War 4, managed to play that on a PC with NVIDIA GTX 1080 installed on it, and we played that in 4K resolution, and it was absolutely outstanding, like the graphics on that game. I'm not a massive Gears of War fan by any means, but I can actually appreciate Gears of War 4. Gears of War Judgment, the last one, was totally different, but this has gone back to the way the first 3 were. And I think it's going to be a very, very good game, especially with Gears of War fans. I think they're actually going to love it, and I think that's going to sell quite a few consoles for the people on PlayStation and PC. Well, it is on PC, Gears of War now, so they won't need to buy a console, but certainly for PlayStation 4 players, they may take the opportunity to buy an Xbox One this year to play games like that and Forza Horizon. We then had another go on Battlefield 1. We didn't queue long for that at all. It was about 20 minutes we waited, and then we had another game on that. We actually won that game, and I think for the game of the show for me is Battlefield 1, which was surprising because I wasn't really looking forward to playing that at the event because I'd already played it on the beta, but this was a different map. It was on the highest setting PC, so it was a high resolution PC, and we got to play it in higher resolution with a gamepad as well, or mouse and keyboard. We then sort of played a few. We also played a few games in the PlayStation area. I played World Rally Championships. Very good graphics, but not my type of game. Farming Simulator 2017 was there. I spent quite a lot of time today walking around the merchandise stands and sort of looking at, well, we've gone out of focus here, looking at certain things. There's plenty of merchandise there and quite reasonable prices really. There was a lot of Pokemon teddies there, and they seem to change prices every day. Like the first day I was there, it was like £15 for a Pikachu teddy, which was a reasonable size, and I was actually thinking about picking one up for the other half. And then I go back today and it had gone up to £25–30, and I was like, nah, you can fuck off. Like, that's just like, I'm convinced that because it's so busy today, they probably ramped the prices up a bit. But I picked myself up a Skyrim sort of pint glass and a Cyber Demon pop figure. That's all I bought for me really, and I bought a few bits for the missus and the kids. I didn't go overboard this year. I bought a Razer keyboard there last year for £135. But this year I've kept the spending to a minimum. I've probably spent more money on food than anything else in there. At £12.80 for a burger and chips, which is ridiculous. The other option was Subway. I had that yesterday, but I wanted to try something a bit different today. I wish I'd gone for Subway again, because that was about £8, which is quite reasonable considering. But yeah, I've definitely had a great time this year. Last year I had a good time, but we only had 2 days there last year, and on the Friday night we got a bit drunk last year and we ruined the Saturday really, and the queues last year ruined the event, in all honesty. So the Saturday last year we spent time queuing for games that were just like 3-hour queues, and then we just decided not to queue. So this year's been really good. I could have done with Nintendo, Ubisoft and Microsoft being there, but there was plenty to be getting on with, and I think 3 days was enough. If I went back tomorrow, I'd probably be playing stuff that I've already played. The games I didn't get round to playing were Final Fantasy 15, Dishonored 2, Sonic Mania, Dawn of War was there, not really my cup of tea. There's quite a few games that we never got round to. Didn't get round to playing PSVR, which pretty disappointed about, but most of the PSVR games you had to book appointment slots for, and also there was one game you could just queue up and play for on VR, but you were looking at sort of an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I didn't want to waste my time waiting for that. I think PSVR is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be well received, or it's going to be a gimmick like sort of Xbox Connect, and only time will tell. It's a very expensive investment, and I don't know about it. So yeah, if you're into computer games and you've not done a convention before, I highly recommend it. It is good fun. It is expensive. Cost-wise, looking, obviously I've had to get train travel. I do work for the railway, so it's been relatively cheap for me to get here, but the accommodation, paid probably about £250 in hotels for the 4 nights. Obviously you've got to worry about your food and drink while you're up here. Obviously if you bring your own food, maybe a different matter. The food in the hotel in the mornings isn't a problem, but then you're looking at your lunch, say £10 to £15 a day. So what's that, £45, £50 for the week for lunches, and then in the evening it depends whether you want to go out or sort of take it easy with the food. But for me, very expensive trip. I bought this camera just to take some decent pictures this year, but the camera's a long-term investment, but I've probably spent quite a bit of money. I'm not going to put an amount on it, but I've enjoyed myself, and this is like my holiday this year. I've been working hard this year, haven't had time to do things like this, so this is like my break really for the 3 or 4 days. So yeah, I'll be releasing some video footage over the next few weeks in dribs and drabs. I'm not going to keep boring everyone with it, but for those who want to watch it, thank you for watching and listening and having to put up with my daily constant updates. It's just, gaming's just my passion, and it's what I enjoy. That and football are my only 2 major hobbies. So yeah, I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to head back tomorrow morning. I probably won't sort of vlog going home, because it's just going to be literally going home, and then I'll see you guys on my next video. Probably be talking about games in future, and hopefully get around to doing a bit of live streaming and stuff as well. So over and out, and I'll see you on my next video.